Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Frida if you've never been here before. And for those of you who have, thank you very much for watching and keeping on watching. Continue to watch. Shit, I should have gone to college. So I know that you guys are just dying to know what this video is about. Just kidding, because it's in the title, so yeah. So last summer, 2015, I went over to Europe for about 6 weeks and filmed with MTV. I'm already out of breath. This is going to be a rough one. And the reason I've decided to make a whole video about this is because literally every single day since I came back, like 380 days ago, I've been asked about my experience, how things went, did I love it, did I hate it, what happened, what was it about, like all these questions 390 times, probably more. So I just wanted to go ahead and clear everything up, answer any questions that you guys had. I'll continue to answer any questions if you want to comment them below, whatever you guys want. So without further ado, here is my story. So let me just go ahead and say that this was the absolute worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like, whatever anybody says, it's a lie. All of it is so fake, it's so staged, all of it just sucks so bad. But let me just put you through like my daily routine. So basically they'd wake us up at like 6 a.m. Let me just start off, we went to bed at like 3 a.m. from filming, and then I'd wake up at like 6 a.m. and it was still dark out and I was freezing. I got 3 hours of sleep in a tent next to someone that I hated. So we woke up. If we had time to eat breakfast, we could eat. If not, then it's like get McDonald's on the road and put that towards your time on the challenge. So we had to wake up at 6 a.m., get ready by like 7, start filming. I had to be with someone that I hated the whole entire time. I didn't get a lot of food, so I got hangry as like shit. And I mean, we drove for like, our normal routes would be like 3 hours, and then if you messed up, they could be like 6 hours, which was what it was for me and Joey all the time because we got lost like all the time. Like, we did not work well together. So imagine waking up at 6 a.m. after 3 hours of sleep and driving 6 hours every single day for like 6 weeks with someone you hate. So it was just a very, very tiring journey. We didn't have but maybe 3 or 4 like off days. So what the show was about was basically there were 3 couples that were actually in real relationships. So they came from, one from Virginia, one from Florida, and one from Kentucky. So those 3 were in real relationships, and then I was considered like the single girl, which was a very last minute decision, and then there was a single guy. So I went to the MTV website and I put in my application. It was about 3 weeks later, I think, that they called, and by that point I completely forgot about it. They called me and I was like, oh my god, MTV is really calling me. And so then we did like a phone interview, then we did a couple Skype interviews, and the whole process was like, I think like 7 weeks long. So end of August comes along, I pack up my things, and I finally go to Europe. When I first arrived there, funny story, I almost got arrested in the airport because MTV told me not to tell them I was filming just because of whole like visa purposes and stuff, and it was just so complicated, so they just told me to say I was traveling with a friend. And they questioned me, and I guess they sensed how nervous I was, and they were like, no, da da da, and they took my contract, and on the contract it said, don't tell security why you're here. And I literally threw up like on the floor in front of the guard. So from then on I was like, well, this shit is gonna suck. And so I went to the bathroom, finished puking my brains out, and then I finally got MTV to clear my name and I was through the gates. So before I even got there, they were asking me what my dream guy was and what quality traits I hated in a guy. So I gave them all those traits that I hated, and lo and behold, they gave me the guy that I hated. I tried really hard to hide it. So I told them, I said, whatever you do, do not give me a Guido. Like, I'm sorry if you're from the north, I'm sorry if you consider yourself a Guido, and I don't want to offend anybody, but that's just my personal choice. I'm not into Guido guys. I don't care for guys that spray tan or use way too much gel in their hair or smoke way too much cigarettes or have way too many tattoos. And that's exactly what Joey was. So after they introduced us, we got in our car, and it just so happened to be a Fiat. If you don't know what those are, those things are about as tiny as a shoebox. So the whole storyline was that 4 couples, one single couple, was competing against each other to get to the end of the race. And the race was just going through the whole entire, like, 8 countries. And they gave us a paper map, no GPS, no phones, nothing. So the only way that you could figure out where you're going is through a paper map. And so that follow car had the mic person behind it, the driver, the person that talks to us and tells us what to talk about through walkie-talkie, and then our person that records and types down everything that me and Joey talked about. So we had microphones on us, we had a walkie-talkie between us, and they would basically just spit out topics and we would talk about them. So basically, while we're all racing across Europe, we're also doing challenges. And the thing that we didn't know before we got there that we learned on camera was that if you lost a challenge, then you had to sleep outside. Well, the contract never said that, so I was not exactly too happy about that, and neither was anybody else because we didn't have our phones. It was freezing cold. They didn't prepare us for the weather. We didn't sleep. We slept on like little cots. Like, it was literally, it felt like rocks were on your back, and we didn't have any blankets, hardly. It was like literally as thin as my freaking like bra strap. Like, it was so just uncomfortable. It was the worst sleeping situation ever, and I was in a tent with Joey because he was my partner. We didn't get along, so talk about awkward and weird. We didn't sleep in the same bed. I like actually zipped up the tent to like put a little divider between us because I was like, hell no, you're not sleeping anywhere near me. So while we're driving down the road for the first time that we met, it's just kind of awkward because they're like we're making small talk, and to me, I personally didn't care for small talk because I knew right off the bat he was the epitome of what I didn't like. So basically within the first hour, everything just went to straight shit. So he started screaming at me. I've never been yelled at by a guy like that. Like, he slammed the door in my face, and he was, yes, this was all cut out for all of you who already watched this show and said I was a bitch screaming the whole time. This was all cut out. So basically he told me I was a worthless piece of crap who was never going to get married. No guy was ever going to see anything in me. I was one of the ugliest people, all this stuff. And this was the first hour that he met me. So let's go ahead and just put that out there. And so in my head, I'm kind of thinking, well, I'm in another country. I'm here for 6 more weeks. I'm stuck in this small shoebox car with this asshole. And that's how this next 6 weeks is going to go. So now that I've explained a little bit of everything for you guys, I want to answer some questions that I've been getting a lot of. I'm just scrolling through my Instagram, and Olivia Gamidi said, but I was wondering if any of the drama was fake or staged by the producers. I'd say about 80% of me and Joey's drama was real because we really did hate each other. But a lot of it was staged at the same time because they were like, all right, start arguing now, or they'd pull us apart because they didn't want us to argue not on camera. And then they'd tell Joey one thing, and they'd tell me one thing, and so we'd go at it again. And so it was just different things like that. And it was like, Frida, you need to lead him on the scene with the bungee jump, if you guys knew that. I had to lead him on. That was part of what the producers said. And then they said you can dump him in the next episode, and that's what I did. Looked like a bitch, whatever. The next question is Angelica Olivio? I don't know. What was the toughest part of filming in general? So the toughest part, I'd say, within the first week I was there, one of my good friends from here back home passed away. And I didn't have my phone or anything, so I really couldn't talk to her or her family. And I think I found out like 2 days after she passed away. And just knowing that I couldn't be there for her family was just one of the hardest things because her family was basically mine. And MTV just kind of told me to snap back into MTV reality. So that's just what was the hardest part for me. So the next question was, did you and Joey ever talk after the show, and are we friends? No, we're not friends right now. I just decided to cut him out of my life completely because he was nothing but toxic, and anytime we talked it was an argument, and anything he put on social media was just to bash me and make him look better. And by the way that the producers edited and everything, it did make him look better. So I did look like a bitch the whole entire show, but it's cool, no big deal. I'm not hurt about it. So the next question is by Megs Mick, which is the girl that actually told me about all of this MTV stuff, and she said, do you still keep in touch with the cast, and should I message you again if I see another casting call for a reality show, or are you done? I am fucking done. I hate MTV. I hate everything about it. So I only keep in touch with 2 people, and it is Alex Klein and Clayton. So another question was, I was wondering if the producers had any say in how you should act and what you should say, what you cannot say. Yes, there was a lot. There was a lot of times that they separated me and Alex, so we couldn't talk about things and what we wanted to do, so me and her had to actually text each other when we had access to our phones, which was not often, and tell each other, like, look, they're trying to make us talk crap about each other, like, we're not going to do that, we're not going to fight, we're staying true to each other, and F what they say. Yes, they do manipulate, like, a lot. Before I even went on the show, I emailed the producers and said, look, I need to see my brother. I haven't seen him in a year. He's my absolute best friend, and he's currently in Germany. And they're like, well, if that's in our route, we'll make it work. Like, I promise you'll see him, da-da-da-da. I still have that email for proof. And so whenever they were surprising me with him, they gave Joey all the credit. He's like, I have such a good surprise for you. Like, it's going to make up for every time that I've been mean to you. Like, I'm so sorry. And then out comes my brother. And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell? How is he going to get the credit after being an asshole to me? And now he looks so amazing on camera. And I'm like, not thankful at all because I'm the one who set it up. That was the only reason I really went on the show, was to go see my brother. And they just gave Joey all the credit. So yeah, there was a lot that was staged. Another question I was asked, if Joey was hot and not so weird, would I have gone with him? No, I would not. He was not my type. I don't care if he was hot or not. His attitude was absolutely ridiculous. I wish you guys actually got to see more of it, because I've never been so disrespected by a guy in my entire life. I honestly cried myself to sleep every night that I was there. So I hope I answered all of your questions, and once again, if you guys have anything more to ask, comment them below, and I will try to reply as thoroughly as possible. And while you guys comment below, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!